Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito fought valiantly, but even a player of his skills, such as he, had grievously underestimated the versatility of M45. The score is now 2-1 against. And as before, M45 launched a very powerful pile bunker attack, hoping to take advantage of the fact that the Honorary Prez unfortunately was somewhat crippled from a previous attack, resulting in a ring out. Right as the strike was about to hit, Kaito experienced his own form of attack, dubbed slow-mo. Basically, the exact opposite of the effects that Akio feels. In other words, for Kaito, time is slowed to a crawl while his own senses have sharpened significantly. And at first glance, this might be considered an advantage. Kaito's reflexes would now give him the edge over the incoming assault, as he would be able to respond at least 30 seconds faster than he normally would have. But there is unfortunately a catch to this, is that Kaito is experiencing unimaginable pain, which means that even with this overwhelming advantage now suddenly in his favor, Kaito is literally on the verge of literally almost dying here and now. And all this is going on in real time as well, which means that at the very least Akio should be seeing herself that something is now wrong with Kaito. And I'm pretty sure that everyone else in the audience, including Mr. Pleiades himself, aka Subaru Hideka, because come on, it was never really that much of a secret anymore, now was it? I'm pretty sure that even Subaru can see that there is in fact something not quite right with Kaito and his condition right now, which in and of itself might result in a slight, give it a few seconds, decrease in terms of his response. But even so, Subaru intends to win regardless, and so Kaito really needs to do something or let this happen. But he doesn't have a lot of options at this point. I mean, yes, he could react, but to do so is about as far from easily as you can possibly get. No matter how hard I try, I can only move at the same speed as the rest of the world. I put every ounce of energy I have into this. I urge my fingers to react. Yeah. It's interesting to observe time dilation in very unusual circumstances. Then after a short delay, the fingers around my pokercom start to move. There's an actual sense of latency between my mind and my body. There's nothing I can do about it. Not while we're suffering the effects. The tip of the pile bunker draws ever closer to the Prez. But I've already input the command to dodge it. As we've established before, he might be able to dodge one, but he won't be able to dodge the other in time, consecutively. The honorary Prez steps to the side, and the pile bunker grazes the surface of the Prez's arm. I just barely managed to evade M45's attack. Barely being the operative word here. But it's already in a position to fire again. Yeah. M45 was quicker on the draw than Kaito had initially assumed, an assumption that, was guaranteed to bite him in the arse. The first shot was from its left arm, the second shot comes from the right. Does that mean it can only fire 2 consecutive shots? Well, given the momentum that it has, it's quite considerable. Its aim is spot on. M45 locks onto the Prez after it dodges the first shot. Here comes shot number 2. The spike once again moves very slowly, at least from Kaito's perspective, which allows me time to dodge it, but not entirely. Since it can only fire in a straight line, there's nothing to fear as long as it's off by a few tenths of a millimeter. But if it has enough force on it to knock us off balance, we're in deep trouble. All we can literally do is hope. I just barely dodged the second spike and faced the defenseless M45 straight on. So it can only do a 1-2 punch. It can't keep doing it continuously. The distance between us has barely changed. M45 is still very, very far away. And yet, there's no way I'll be able to hit him from this distance, at least not directly.
奇襲技に近いからここぞっていうところでしか使っちゃダメだよ。
Of all the times to use a desperation move, I guess now is it. I never expected Akio's lame idea to be useful at a time like this. It's any consolation, Kaito, neither did I. It almost feels like fate, but I can't say I'm a fan of that. Time to end this piss-easy game once and for all. One move that even Subaru Mr. Pleiades Hidaka wouldn't expect. There we go. Command input successful. Seems the time dilation effect is slowly wearing off. Achievement unlocked. GG easy. Easy peasy. As soon as I finish inputting the command, the flood of the noise comes rushing back to the arena. Considerably shorter than the recovery time of Akio. That's to be expected. The flow of time finally returns to normal. thick texture of the air vanishes. I can finally breathe again, freeing me from the suffering. And the honorary press has already completed its transformation, sitting on the floor with its legs stretched out. The motors on the wheels attached to its bottom begin to spin. And then it shoots forward. Weren't expecting that, now were you, Mr. Pleiades? The Prez performs a high-speed sliding tackle on M45. Let's just hope we have enough kinetic energy to deal some damage. Both robots are sent flying out of the ring, tangled up with one another. Does this count as a draw? Or... The lousy motors go silent. Silence. The entire arena is engulfed in silence. For a split second it feels like my attack isn't over yet. I take a deep breath and look around. Well, they're applauding. I guess it was highly entertaining. That's when an explosion of noise bursts from the silence. Roars erupt from the spectator seats as the whole arena goes wild. Yeah, the ratings will definitely be eating it up tonight. What does that mean for us?
神業レベルの超反応連続で繰り出された超高速のロケットパンチをなんとどちらも紙一重でかわしやがった
Yeah, it's surprising that to these people, Kaito's reaction was nothing short of god tier.
そして種子島のど根性血を這うように変形してからの超加速突進攻撃炸裂
Again, a very kamikaze approach, but that's what it's there for.
種子市アクセルインパクトです
OK 瀬宮美咲の妹ちゃん今の最高にバーニングなフィニッシュ技は種子市アクセルインパクト
What do you know, Wakio? Looks like that finishing move of yours is as impactful as its name. It finally dawns on me that all these cheers are for me. It's almost like my seizure is being celebrated. I make sure nobody hears me as I click my tongue. It also tells me personally that it's not just panic and stress that can lead to an attack, but also even any form of exhilaration could also serve as a trigger. The question is, did we win? Did we earn ourselves a victory or a reprieve? Oh, interesting. Misaki Sonomiya has decided to grace the arena with her presence. The crowd's excitement has reached its peak. But before we get into that, Rocket Punch. A classic special move in mecha anime, an attack that involves detaching the arm from the elbow and firing at an enemy at an extremely high speed. Fortunately, Honorary Prez doesn't require its arm to detach. Pile bunker. The weapon that has the same structure as a pile driver. The concept of the weapon can be traced back to mecha anime. Would have been pretty interesting if the Honorary Prez could literally pile driver other robots, but oh well. Easy game. Net slang originating in the 2000s. Used by a cocky player when the match they just played was trivial or beneath them. Yeah. But going back to Misaki, I think it should be obvious, well, it was obvious to me that she's actually deigned to come out all this way and is not simply just watching this all unfold in her cozy little office. The audience is shouting and stomping to express their excitement over the thrilling grand finals match. The earth-shaking fervor of the crowd is directed at the two in the center of the arena, Mr. Pleiades and Kaito Yashio.
なかなか面白い動きをするな。
Obvious shadiness is obvious. Yeah. Yeah, I called it a hunch that I had a feeling that Misaki wasn't playing with a full deck.
ブレイクアップは起きているか？
今からおよそ12時間前に大規模太陽フレアが発生し、高速の CME が確認されています。
Normally I would constitute a solar flare as being an ungood thing.
肉眼での確認はまだですが、現時点でもオーロラが発生している可能性は高いかと。
Why is she bringing up auroras now?
ですが、この規模のフレアはこの数年では日常です。
Trying to tell me that the activities of the recent solar flares and auroras that we've been witnessing are somehow tied to whatever it is that Kaito and Akio have been going through?
ゆえにその影響ではないと。中央種子島高校か。私の勘違いでなければ君の母校だったな。
はい。
彼らのことは
操作システムについては斬新な発想ですが、戦術そのものは洗練されているとは言えません。
And yet, not without results.
フロックと見てしかるべきかと。
I don't trust you, Misaki Sonomiya. I really, really do not trust you.
手厳しいな。だが私が聞いているのは知り合いかということなんだ。
ええ、よく知っています。
詳細について後でまとめて報告。
了解しました。
この場は任せろ。スポンサー料については倍出すと先方に伝えておいてくれ。
There is more to this contest than meets the eye, it seems. And on top of that follows another question. Does Vice Principal Usui know about this?
どちらへ？
委員会の様子を見にな。
Now there is a name that I'd never hoped I would ever see surface, but no. You know what? I shall not speak of it for now. It will come later. But I have a very bad feeling about this. For them to be involved unnerves me greatly, but I shall let it lie for now. The arena is quite far from here, even though the physical distance is so close. From here I can't tell how the two of them, my childhood friend and little sister, are taking the crowd's cheers. Interesting that you would still refer to Kaito as your childhood friend, even with your new affiliations, Misaki. There's a broadcast monitor in this VIP room that allows me to see them. But they're nothing but data passing through the screen. Fiction disguised as reality.
まだ囚われているのね、カイ。
And whose fault is that, I wonder? And if there was a way to help him escape from being trapped, I doubt that you would help him. Then again, I caress the surface of the glass with my fingers. The transparent wall separating us is cold, a fierce contrast to the passionate spectators in the arena.
それは正しい資質とは言えない。
I press my nails against the glass, trying to prevent my nerves from erupting. The small propeller plane is bound for Tanegashima. We're going back home again. But of course we have a variety of different tips to look through. More knowledge to be gained. Auroral breakup, a phenomenon that occurs during a particularly active aurora that causes the sky to appear as if it's covered in a vortex of light and color, also known as an auroral explosion. Solar flare, an explosive phenomenon which causes a tremendous amount of energy to become visible on the surface of the sun. The explosion can be tens of thousands of kilometers long, and the plasma generated by it can heat up to tens of millions of degrees Celsius. If the flare is powerful enough, it can reach the Earth's magnetic field, reacting with it to produce magnetic storms and auroras. The largest flares have the capacity to affect satellites and even damage electronics, sometimes to the point of equipment failure. Excuse me. Finally, CME, coronal mass ejection, a phenomenon in which a gigantic mass of plasma is released from the sun following a solar flare, just basically a big ball of fire exploding from the sun's surface, of which I'm sure there are multiple ones. But anyway, looks like we're heading home. But that doesn't really answer my question of whether or not we actually won, or whether proceedings screeched to a draw. I let out a small sigh from my seat. Akio is next to me, looking down at her Pokécom with a disappointed expression on her face. In all fairness, you... Meeting your sister at this encounter probably wouldn't have led to the favorable outcome that you were hoping for, Akio.
離陸前に電源切らないとダメだよ。
わかってるよ。
Trust me, you're better off. She's been like this ever since last night. She's probably reading articles about yesterday's match. Not that I can blame her. Again, the suspense is killing me. Yesterday, the Robo 1 Grand Finals ended in the most abrupt way possible. After suffering from slow-mo, I instinctively used the Prez's special move, the Tanagashi XL Impact. It successfully knocked Mr. Pleiades M45 out of the ring, but yeah, the Prez went flying out too. This counted as a double ring out, and since we had already had 2 downs, this was our 3rd and final down. Game over. In other words, we lose. Isui gets to smirk at home to the bank, and we get left with nothing but breadcrumbs. It's been nice knowing you, Robotics Club. It's been nice knowing you, Gunbuild 1. But those dreams are coming crashing back down to harsh reality. We'd self-destructed. What a pathetic way to end things. Indeed, but what can we do now? I grip my teeth. Damn it. I suppress the urge to punch the wall, all while maintaining my composure on the outside. Didn't I tell her from the get-go? Multiple times, in fact. Install brakes. The fate of the Robotics Club means nothing to me, but I'm still hopelessly frustrated over the fact that I lost. How could I let the top spot slip through my fingers in such a humiliating way? What a disgrace. So we literally are leaving Tokyo behind with our tails between our legs. Everything about this trip was chaotic from the get-go. If we were more prepared, I know I could have won. Except this entire thing was built on the predication that we would ultimately lose anyway, so... Which is precisely why this is so damn frustrating. If nothing else, we did get some prize money for 2nd place. But we failed to meet Usui's condition. Win 1st place, or else. A whopping 1 million yen. Actually not a bad haul for 2nd place, but 2nd place is still 2nd place, not 1st place. But even that doesn't put a smile on Akio's face. She's already realized that no amount of cash is going to change her situation. Akio's contagious sigh prompts me to sigh as well. With little else to do, I look around the small plane aimlessly. This really sucks. There aren't many passengers on this early Monday morning flight. I count four people other than me, Akio, and Michi. It's then that a girl about the same age as us enters the cabin. She makes her way through the aisle as she looks at her ticket, confirming her assigned seat. She glances up and our eyes meet. Her face is so small, like a model. Greetings and salutations. Her outfit is flashy as hell too. If this is what you consider gaudy, then you're going to be in for a hell of a shock when you actually see how overly ostentatious some people dress. But I'm getting off topic. But her eyes are kind of scary. They don't quite feel like the glaring daggers sensation to me, but oh well. The girl appears to be restlessly looking around. It's almost as if she's bored or something. I can't tell if she's refined or just out of her mind. Or maybe that's just you. She ends up sitting in a seat 2 rows in front of me. As far as I can tell, she's alone. As soon as she's seated, she pulls out her pokercom and starts Kill Ballad, only to be stopped by a flight attendant. Well, they said no electronic devices must be used on the plane. Just like that, my affinity for this mysterious girl skyrockets. I definitely didn't think she'd be a KB player. Well, surprise, surprise. But if she's from Tokyo, it shouldn't be that surprising. Tokyo girls are all about the latest trends, apparently. I can feel my mood lighten a bit. Not that it matters. The propellers outside the window start to spin rapidly. We're taking off. The plane slowly begins to move across the runway. Farewell, Tokyo. Farewell. Once the flight attendant goes over the emergency instructions, a voice comes in over the speakers above. Always wear your seatbelts.
午前8時40分、種子島行きは離陸の準備が整いましたので、これより出発いたします。
Well, at the end of the day, we can say we tried hard. Even then, it wasn't enough.
計画通りの出発にご協力いただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。種子島空港へは午前9時20分に到着予定です。 現在、種子島の天候は晴れ、気温27度になっています。
Only an hour's flight. Sure, it's pretty reasonable.
飛行機の機長は私よ。客室乗務員は西でございます。
Wait. Yashi? As in...
短い間ですが、空の旅をどうぞお楽しみください。
Huh. Now that is interesting. I mean, sure, I'm pretty sure that certain last names are commonly shared.
それと、カイト、アキちゃん、ナイスファイトだね。
Or maybe Kaito's father is indeed the pilot of this very plane.
あ、茂みおじさん。
Shigemi Yashio. My dad, Shigemi Yashio, happens to be a pilot for flights between Tanegashima and Kagoshima. I really wish he wouldn't talk about personal stuff in front of the other passengers. Embarrassed, I turn off my pokercom and sink into my seat, pretending to fall asleep. Well, it's a little bit more complimentary than, say, anything that Misaki would say, or anyone else back on Tanegashima for that matter. Mizuki and the others might be a little bit more considerate.
本機は定刻通り種子島空港に到着いたしました。本日も JAC ジャパンエアコネクトをご利用いただき誠にありがとうございました。
Man, did that hour just fly by, and I don't know about you, but boy are my arms tired. Thank you. You're welcome. Well, we're back. Back on the island, back from our stint in Tokyo. So when we return, adventurers, I think I can hear Chopin's Farewell Waltz playing up ahead. Oh dear. As always, until next we meet.